So Don, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate
my pleasure.
Your time. And first, if you could just tell us a little bit about you and your role at Vistaprint.
Sure. So Vistaprint, in case you don't know, we're a global e-commerce company, over $1 billion in revenue, and a true multinational. So the majority, our biggest market is the U.S., but we have probably 45% of our revenue outside of the U.S., so definitely a global company with a global footprint. And we're a printing company. We have manufacturing facilities, but we are really at our heart, I think, an e-commerce company. So we have millions, 15 million micro-business customers around the world, and we sell them a lot of business cards, postcards, T-shirts, anything to promote their business, grow their business. My role is Chief Marketing Officer, and the role of marketing is really to drive the business, top line, bottom line, as well as build a great brand around the world in the countries we compete in.
So how do you define transformational growth? What does that mean to you in your career at Vistaprint?
So I think there's different variations on growth. I think on one end might be optimization, which is very tactical, small changes, which collectively might add up to a lot. And then to me, there's more the transformational side of getting into new markets, new product categories, new customer segments. So I would lean more on those as examples of transformational growth. So as I think about Vistaprint and what that's meant is, we were started with one product, which was a business card, which is still our number one seller as a business card. But how we got to be over $1 billion is by taking that and launching new products around it. If you need a business card, you might need something that is a matching product, a matching website, matching postcards and so forth. So there was product expansion. We went from the markets we were in to now over 20 countries. We went from the channels, originally we were just promoting online, to now we promote offline. So we've added in new channels, both distribution and for marketing. So every time we've turned on new countries, new channels, new product lines, to me it would be examples of transformational growth.
What do you see as the role of brand in driving growth?
So brand is interesting. So again, as a direct response company, there was kind of an institutional belief that brand didn't matter in a sense. Brand didn't drive revenue, it didn't drive profit. Yes, of course you have a brand because every company, there's a perception of it, but actively managing that brand and investing in it was not worth it. It would be better to just put out an offer and say, $10 for 250 business cards and go. What we're trying to really introduce with the company is there is a big value in brand. So if we can convince people that we are a very reputable provider, as reputable as their local printer, we believe they will give more share of wallet to us. So they already believe we are cheaper. They will save money going with us. What's lacking is the brand. What's lacking is the trust in us that they have in their local provider. And we can never have the one-to-one relationship as an e-commerce company, so we can't have a person across the table from you. So therefore, it's almost more important for us to have a brand, something to stand behind. So when people think Vistaprint, they think quality, they think someone they can trust, they think great customer service over the phone. And again, for the long term, we think that's going to be a huge revenue payout. What it means in the short term is we're investing in things that we're not expecting to have revenue benefit. So we're redoing all of our visual identity, upgrading our website with no expectations of short-term gains, but because we believe it will enhance the brand and long-term lead to growth.
So what is next for Vistaprint? What is the next big thing?
So from a growth perspective, it's in some ways more the same. So it's new products, new channels, new geographies. I think the thing I'm most excited about is new customer segments. So historically, as I mentioned, we're very focused on the small micro business. We think there's an opportunity to go up market a little bit to slightly higher, what most of the world would call small business. So as we start to focus on a different customer segment, I think it's going to open up a whole new world for us in terms of where to grow.
How have you thought about the markets that you enter?
So our CEO has a fond way of calling it most of world.
I like that, MOW.
So North America and Europe is where most of our revenue is, quite frankly. India, China, Brazil, Russia is where most of the world lives. And in fact, most of the growth over the next 30 years will come from that. So, when I think long term, I think the next 3 to 5 years. Our CEO thinks 30 years out, so he's our founder and CEO. And I think his point of view would be, you have to be in India. You can't not be in the place where all the growth is going to come from in the future, or you're going to be limiting our growth. What we need to be doing is planting seeds in emerging markets to make sure that when we get to 2020, 2025, Asia, and in particular developing economies, is driving the business. For me, it's about balance. So to say our whole strategy was geography, I think is very dangerous. To say we're done with channels, I think would be dangerous. To say we're done with products. So it's this tension between trying not to do too much because you could get overextended very easily, to picking your spots in each of those vectors and saying, well, if we're going to launch one big product this year, what's the product? If we're going to enter one market this year, what's the market? And make sure you get those right, so that you're continuing to grow on each of those different pieces, but not trying to do so much that you end up failing on any of them.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think about it. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right.